We're in.
We're in.
Started.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to Watch the Buttons. We've just done the Patreon episode.
Give us your money.
Patreon.com/what's the buttons.
It's not Ashley.
.com.co.uk.
I don't know.
Patreon. No, I said it. Patreon.com/what's the buttons. That's the one.
That's the one.
That's the one. If you want to give us some money. Ooh.
Give them the money.
Listen.
I'm paying. Why aren't you?
To the exclusive episode.
I'm paying and I'm being here as well.
Great. Had to leave off a fair amount of conversation in the Patreon because we just wanted to talk about it on this.
Yeah, we did it the other way round because usually you do it the other way around.
Boring, stupid, nerdy Dungeons and Dragons.
Nerds.
No one likes Dungeons and Dragons apparently in the
yard.
In
the world.
It must have such an awful perception from the outside looking in.
You know why? Because when DnD first came out back in the 70s or whenever it was all taboo and cult shit. Basically got hit with it, and it came. I think it's Gary Gygax and all that. They're all American.
Is that the ones that made it?
Yeah, Gary Gygax made it, and essentially they all looked at it and went, "Oh, that's fucking weird, and it's spooky. It's getting the kids to fucking worship Satan. You know, all that fucking Jesus shit we talked about in the van earlier. That America's a bit, a little bit extreme in their outlook, and essentially all the Christian moms didn't like D&D, and so for a long time when it first came out it was seen as with massive stigma that essentially Stranger Things is obviously what kicked it off again, but they didn't really make a big deal out of showing the
D&D aspect of it.
The fact that it was briefly mentioned, but because at the time no one liked it, and it was like, oh, it's going to turn my kids special and gay or whatever else.
D&D's gonna turn my son gay.
He's gonna worship Satan and suck dick. That it had a real bad rap for a long time till it wasn't even. It was obviously had its place in the world, but it wasn't such a big attraction. Whereas then. People turning the frogs gay.
Satan and suck dick. Oh, good God.
So ultimately it went quiet for a very long time, and then with Stranger Things coming out whenever the fuck that came out, probably
a while ago, man.
Probably 10 years ago now.
Halfway through filming the last season.
Or 8 years ago now. That it had a little bit of an upsurgence, and then there was a lot of groups of people that had been playing D&D from when they were very, very young, and then stuck with it because they loved it so much and it appealed to them, and their love of fantasy and story writing and collaborative imagination, that then it grew, and with the rise of podcasts and everything, that a lot of people then like Crit Roll or Dimension 20, and there's shit tons of other ones out there, that they started to make it big off the back of like Stranger Things going, oh, D&D's kind of cool. And it's picked up a lot in the last 10 years, say.
D&D is just...
It's really picked up.
It's what you make it in terms of what you're playing, the freedom that you've got to...
Yeah, but because of that, then you've got a lot of people that still don't understand it. Because either they're older generation, like our mate from the yard is like, oh, that's proper nerdy, and doesn't understand it, even though he doesn't understand how to turn his phone on, let alone doesn't know
he's obviously not going to fucking understand D&D.
Yeah, doesn't understand how to have an imagination and just be there with your mates, going like, oh, you don't have mates. It's like, well, I've got enough that play D&D that probably got more playing D&D than you've got alive, old man. So It's
just I can see why people would look at it and go, oh, that's fucking
nerdy,
massively
nerdy's
but
like
at the
chic
same time,
now.
But nerdy's also subjective into what you would call nerdy.
Because is it nerdy or is it geeky? Because there's a difference in the two.
Yeah.
But there's an element of just own it. If we play D&D, but also most of our lot that we played with at the weekend were all tree surgeons, so we're all like,
yeah,
we're all men.
It's I can only imagine it as.
It's just weird from the outside looking in because it's like anything. It's like,
but how incredible would a session of D&D be if you had professional, like with Critical Role, professional voice actors there and taking away that almost anxiety and fear of really getting into character.
I went to their live show back in September, October in the Wembley OVO, and there was a fucking astounding energy in there. Like, just maybe because everyone was a nerd and wanted to be there for that event.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I went to fucking what was it? I went to AC/DC the other literally like 3 weeks ago. That was dreadful by comparison. It was so crap. Like, and that's like a big. They've been around however many years they've been around. That was so shit.
How was it, mate? Oh, shit.
Compared to, like, whereas I had such a better time watching fucking 7 people roll dice in front of, like, you know, 8,000 people. Because just the energy was so much better when you got like-minded people. And yeah, it must, for the outside, it must be like, oh, what are all these weirdos doing rolling dice? And, you know, it does attract the stranger crowd. Of like the autism crew and the ADHD crowd, but
I feel like that's
the non-binaries and all that lot. But so long as it's a welcome,
that's where you get the.
But it's a safe. Like these people were turning up because they felt like they were safe being there because they're with like-minded people.
Yeah. That's why you get what would be classed as the weird people or the alternate people where they like in Comic-Con and things like that, because it is a safe space where people can come and be who they want to be. But the stigma around it is just. I find it odd.
I think a lot of people. Because you're encouraged to imagine things and you're encouraged to use your mind in a way that's picturing fantasy and escapism, that, you know, you go, well, what, you like sitting there with your mates and having a good time and thinking about killing orcs? Well, that's weird. Like, no, I'm literally sitting here with like 4 people that I get on really well with, and we're having a laugh, we're taking the piss out of each other, and at the same time, we're smacking goblins about. But instead of, I'm not doing it playing a game, like, you know, I'm not playing one of the Lord of the Rings games, or like any, you know, like Valheim or anything where you can go and smack goblins. I'm doing it in like,
but it's such a weird,
with little figures and dice.
It's such a weird.
It takes playing it to start to understand.
Yeah, because at first, when I'd never played it before, I thought, well, how exactly are you supposed to be a creative? And I'm just looking at a tabletop here, and when you actually start playing it, visualize it for the people that are listening. Let me help you visualizing what it looks like whenever we play.
So you can upload
a photo of it.
Ash's photo that you put on that he took of the tabletop.
Yeah, and I took a photo of everyone playing it as well. And it's literally, we're all sat at a table with energy drinks and
Monster
and all sorts of other shit and just sweeties, and it's just a grid on the table with a map drawn out and then some figures on the fucking map, and then we've all got dice around us.
Yeah.
And you are left to your imagination. When we're playing that, I can picture the road that we're walking down. I can picture the scenery, where we are, what we look like. When we was in the cave fighting those goblins that fucked me up, I can imagine what they looked like. And when one of them was sat on the bridge above, I could picture that.
You could picture a little goblin like something out of Lord of the Rings, like the Hobbit,
man.
where like they've gone down to Goblin Town or whatever.
And it's so weird how you don't even sort of realise that you're visualising that. Your mind is completely run away with what you're doing in physical form, in your being and how you're talking and everything like that. It might be a little bit different in that you're somewhat more reserved. I definitely am.
The thing is, this is like, we've played 2 sessions.
Yeah.
You've been present for 2 sessions. Like, by comparison, I've essentially been playing D&D for about 5 years now.
Yeah, but don't get confused. Those 2 sessions are about 20 hours worth of fucking playtime.
Oh yeah,
all right. They're not short. Like, half hour there, an hour here. They're long old fucking sessions, and it's you, yeah. It's just you don't realise the. I would imagine if you had the wrong type of group.
Oh yeah,
that you didn't necessarily get along with, that it would be quite difficult to get involved with that.
There is a whole Reddit of DM horror stories for individuals.
That's fine,
it's literally called DM horror stories, I think.
On the old Reddito.
That of different people that do have problems with the groups they're playing with, be that it's their friends, or be that they've gone to like local game centre and met people that they decided to play with, but they do
DnD horror stories.
There you go. It's different. It understandably, like if you've got professionals doing it, yeah, you're going to get a higher tier of game. That at the same time, I feel like my play style or my DM style is quite loose and chill in some respects, because
fucking hell, that's a long old.
Yeah, they are long stories.
What's this? So I just want to know if I'm overreacting here. Bear with me, everyone, because this is a lengthy one.
Let's tell you a tale.
I'm about to leave this group because of how much they're making me hate the game of D&D. So I don't need advice like if you don't like the group that much, stop playing with them, because that's already the plan. So I'm in this group as the only girl with 5 boys.
Here we go.
I say boys because they never actually act like adults. Women. They're all older than me. We're playing Curse of Strahd.
I would really like to get to that point with you guys, because it's probably one of the pinnacle pre-written adventures, but it's a fucking slog. Not in terms of it's like
Final Fantasy 14 type of fucking slog.
Not that kind of slog, but like it's fucking actions have consequences. This is a fucking meat grinder.
Yeah.
Like expect your character to die, but expect like it's meant to be a horror kind of leaning one, but the introduction. So think where we're running Lost Mines of Phandelver, which is like a baby adventure. Essentially, and that's meant to take you from levels 1 to 5. Just the starter section of Curse of Strahd is meant to take you from 1 to 3, but it's a fucking brutal. It just trying to get to do different things, like they're throwing monsters at you left and right. There's traps. There's fucking the whole thing says anticipate to lose that character.
Yeah.
Because it's just that bad. And you have to be ready to expect that. You can't be like, oh, can I keep my character because I really like them? It's like, no, we ran it.
Just gone.
Yeah, we ran it with my other pals. We ran it with level 5 characters, and it hurt. We nearly lost level 5 characters in a level 1 to 3 adventure bit. This is what I mean. It's fucked. But that's the whole point, because that sets the tone for that adventure. Is you need to be prepared to run. If you have to, you need to be prepared to like hide or come up with solutions that aren't just there's an enemy, I need to attack them.
I don't like that at all. so we're playing because with me, the forever DM finally getting to play a PC. What's a PC? A player character. I was really excited and didn't want to stress out the DM by coming up with some crazy build, so I went for the silly, this would be fun to play route, and made a gnome barbarian that was a bear totem barbarian. Because what's funnier than the smallest one in the party being able to smack people with giant axes? This is where the problem started. I made this little barbarian, and everyone elected me the meat shield. That's funny enough. That's what I fucking am. Great. Which is fine in a sense. You
go from being a barbarian to a fighter, so you basically went from having loads of health to now you've got armor.
Yeah. Which is fine in a sense. I'm the barbarian. That is part of my job. But it started to become an issue when the DM decided to just never go after another PC. I was the only one that ever took damage by anything that wasn't an AoE ability, which again I thought was me doing my job well. People were focusing on me so the rest of my party could attack. Then we were heading to the Abbey of Saint Markovia with Irina, and my DM decided to put a blacksmith's caravan in the middle of the path. Because his friend was complaining about how few magic items he had, we were level 4 and he already had 3 rare items. The party then argued back and forth and taken the caravan back first, so we could get gear, and I was saying we're so close to the abbey, let's just go, which made them all pissed off because I had a whopping 2 magic items, hill giant belt and braces of defense. Woo. and that I was already geared up and everyone else needed stuff, which I understood in a way, but I also looked down onto D&D Beyond. I was the only one that had taken any damage that day. I was down to 12 HP, and everyone else was at full because they begged the cleric to use his spell slots to heal them, and I kind of just went, I'm alright, I can take it, don't worry about me. Now, during them yelling at me about how they got scratched while I sit there with my guts pouring out, I look over at the DM, who I expect to have my back because everyone is screaming at me, and I realised something. I had been crit on 6 different times in that one encounter. He had rolled 6 natural 20s in a row. Now I'm not great at math, so if anyone wants to tell me the odds of that, I'd appreciate it. But I'm so sure he was lying on his rolls to get me to go down. Everything's AC has been harder than I could hit without rolling a 19 or 20, and things I, as a forever DM, know should not have had as much HP, just never seem to go down. Now, I know people tweak stat blocks all the time. I do it too. That's not what I'm upset about. I'm upset because I feel like everyone at the table is out to get me. And there's one more paragraph. 6 natural 20s in a row.
That's fucking a lot.
That's not possible. Obviously it's possible, but that's not possible.
It's not impossible, but it's massively improbable.
We kicked off the other day.
You love that one.
When you needed a fucking
I said,
to roll a 20.
Right, I'm gonna up. In Daryl's little, he was pretty much hidden, and I probably shouldn't have made the roll. And I was just like, I was gonna let it slide anyway, but. Upped his AC by 5. He was 18 already. I had to hit a 23.
And then hit the fucking 23.
And they have a plus, essentially the goblins had a +4 to hit. So it would have needed a 19 or a 20.
Mm-hmm.
And it rolled out of my hand and hit a 20.
Yeah, of course it did. And then he was like, what the fuck? He was like, what the fuck was that?
What?
Daryl was like, I'm pretty safe. You need to fucking 19 or a 20 to get me. And he was like, watching roll a 20, and then you hear them dice fucking slam the table, and boom. Connor was like, fuck. So, yeah, there's a 20. It's like, right, well, you're dead now.
Yeah.
You're done. So, now I'm on a mission to get my little known barbarian killed, because I'm thinking maybe if this is going to be the case, I can try a new character and maybe enjoy it more. I tried just asking the DM if I could change characters, and I got guilted into holding out. Finally, I managed to kill her off and bring in my new character, who is the Paladin Bard build I've been really excited for. But I don't even finish rolling all my death saves, and one guy at the table, the friend whose magic item count is up to 8, immediately jumps in and goes, I take all our magic items. I, as a player, not as a character, had to work really hard to get because the DM did not want me to have any items. I tell the DM I'd rather anyone else at the table take my items because they will actually be fair with them, and I get yelled at by the DM and his friend that I don't get a say because I'm dead. They refuse to understand what I'm telling them.
Sounds familiar.
Yep, none of my items would benefit a rogue in heavy armor because they all play off my unarmored defense and my strength. So why does he want them anyway, if not to hold it over my head? He has no more attunement slots. They don't benefit him, and he already has more items than anyone else in the party. I then give up and tell them to do whatever they want just to bring in my new character, and everyone immediately try to kill her. Am I overreacting here, or is this whole table out to get me? And someone said, run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, that sounds like
That sounds awful.
It's a bunch of gimps, to be honest.
How do you play with people like that, though, after? Because you just go, all right, well, I'm not playing with you anymore. But if you've got to the point where you are playing with them, then you obviously must know them.
It's difficult to say because sometimes you can be like, So say it was like... Say I said you want to play D&D. I didn't want to DM it, and then you joined my friends who play. You could turn up, and then they could be right cunts to you just because you're new or whatever. Like, it depends on that group of people because it's essentially like, we get along well. The rest of our lot that we're playing with now, we all get along well because we've known each other quite a lot and we get on really well. But it's...
I wouldn't like it if I joined all of your other pals and then they just ganged up on me. I would immediately switch off. I'd go, I'm not doing this anymore. Fuck you.
That's what I mean. That's what turns people against it because you can, if you're at a bad table, a lot of people say no D&D is better than bad D&D. because you can turn up at a table.
Literally, no D&D is better than bad D&D, and honestly, this just seems like bad D&D.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, because it's all table bound. It's if you've got people that will put like, I feel like I'm not target. I know it's bad. You've had shit things happen, but I feel like I've not
consistently battered, robbed, spat on, fucked about. I have taken the most bollocks out of anyone.
Yeah, but that wasn't all from me.
No, exactly.
So
from everyone.
I was going to say 90% of that was from your party.
Bullshit.
Absolute
bullshit.
That up with Ash and Daryl.
Absolute bullshit. Yeah, he didn't fucking like it when he got knocked unconscious and robbed, did he? Wasn't fun then, was it, mate? Fucking bells.
You love it. You'll come back for more.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Level 2 now.
Oh, level 2. Only took 2 sessions and about
a long old time.
20 hours.
Long old time.
Well, no, that is it. It's just because a lot of people, they find that the hardest struggle for them is to get to a table. Be that because they themselves as an individual like D&D, but none of their friends do, or if you don't have enough people to run games with, like we.
Hold that mic closer.
Essentially, we struggled. Essentially, we struggled with. Well, when it was just the two of you, like Ash and yourself and me, that it was harder because the adventure wasn't set out for that. I could have adjusted it and made it easier, but obviously when Daryl had turned up, things moved along a lot smoother. That if you don't have enough people and everyone that wants to play, because we've got not so many people, it does make it more difficult, and there's more work that needs to be done versus, say, you've got 6 people that are actually happy to play and consistently. But then the more people you throw into it, the more difficult it is to schedule. Like, there's essentially 4 of us, not excluding, obviously, having Alicia there to help out now, if she's free and everything, because I can play her character if need be. But the scheduling arrangement, so we can't now play for a month, essentially another month. So if you're that desperate to play, you have to then wait for this main group to play. That then you might turn around and go, I really desperately want to play D&D. I'm going to find a table to play at. You might look around online.
Oh, it sounds like dirty cheating, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like looking for party.
So I'm just going to go and find another table, boys, because you're not what I need right now.
Yeah, you're not like...
I need more, and you can't provide it.
Yeah, you can't give it to me.
So, I'm not getting what I need from this, so I'm just going to go and find another table.
But that's what I mean. Like, but at the same time, they also say that sometimes playing with your friends isn't the best thing for you.
Yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, sometimes...
Yeah, I can see that.
Sometimes the play styles of your friends isn't the way that you want to play, or they might want to play something very specific. They might want to play political intrigue campaigns, and you're like, nah, I just want big sword kill. Like, someone might want a combat heavy campaign, which will mean, there'll be a lot of fighting, a lot of everything, but there might not be as much role play and intrigue and, lore in the world and whatever else. That everyone's play styles are different, everyone's tables are different, that you've got to find a balance, that especially as you get more people, that you'll cater to everyone. And then you can't focus on one person and be like, right, you're getting every bit of attention today, or on the flip side, you're getting bullied because like that person's horror story, they're getting, maybe it is because they're a girl or a woman or whatever, or maybe it's because they're an ex-DM or whatever. There is no basis of a lot of it sometimes. But if you do want to go out there and look for a group that isn't your friends or isn't associated with you, that you will have trouble sussing them out, because it's like meeting new people at work. Or I
would find that so weird though if you like.
I don't think I could do it.
We just go around someone's house.
You
Some
can go
randomer's house.
I don't think
with
you go
another
to their
group
house,
of
but
random
you go
people.
to like
library.
Yeah, like library, or you've got one not far from here, that Wayland Games or Nerd Base.
Yeah, Nerd Base.
You would go to those places and you say, like, you might look on Facebook or Reddit or anywhere that's got that kind of stuff and say, look, I want to play D&D. Does anyone live around this area? Are they happy to have another member? Look, where was it? When I was in Braintree, there was a comics and records and sort of semi-nerd shop. And when I was in there and we were looking at stuff, and Alicia bought like some odds and sods dice and whatever, and I was asking them if they what they had in and if they were ordering anything in, that they said, "Oh, are you a DM or a player?" And I was like, "Oh, I dabble it, or I do both." And they were like, "Oh," and then obviously it got into, do you run pre-written or do you run your own stuff, and got into talking about that. They're like, "Oh, and getting into like, oh, would you like host for anyone, or would you like join anyone?" Because they had people that came in that would host for people or would want to join tables. There is also a thing of like, you can essentially get, I don't know how it quite works, but there is a way or where to find it. But a lot of people actually do pay for a DM. So they've got, like, say it was all of us, like the four of us, I didn't DM.
Let me Google that. See if there's a fucking DM service.
Yeah, you would like DM for hire, essentially, and have them run something for you. But then you have to trust that they're a reliable and trustworthy and above board DM, because you could get one who's an absolute cunt who stitches you up. Same as you can get players that join your table who are massive like rules lawyers, where they go, "Well, you can't do that because
Dungeon Masters for Hire UK."
Yeah, because the book says you can't do it.
And
things
roll
like that.
Dog, private game quote, corporate game quote, online games looking for new players.
But that's the same as like DMs for hire. Essentially, there's some people do it. I don't know if it's so big in this country.
Oh, you have to fully write out the subject, number of players, if you want it online or in person, time of day, weeknight or weekend. Imagine that. You should have done that as a little stag. Let's hire a DM.
Hire a DM.
Let's hire a dirty DM. Oosh. I wonder what Reddit's got. Personally, I don't have a problem with any DM charging for their services. It's a lot of work, time, and money. I did say that to my mate Toby, because I was talking to him about D&D, and he was saying like how involved it is to be a DM, and I said, like, after you showed me a couple of the bits, I was like, there's no way in hell I could be a DM. I am not dedicating that much fucking time. It's a full-time job. That shit looks so fucking long.
Sometimes it's not as bad. Like if you're,
I'd imagine it's bad if you're meeting up every fucking week.
Oh yeah.
If you're doing that shit every week and you're having to plan that out, you're in charge of these people and their story.
Pretty
fucking hell, and you've got to remember everything that's going on.
It depends. Like if you're doing homebrew, because you're making all that shit up yourself.
Yeah.
And like I've got that. I've got a homebrew world, and I've got a lot of lore to it and everything. But it's hard work for me to want to work on it.
Yeah.
And hard for me to be consistent with that. Whereas at least with like the adventure we're running for you, I can just read out a book. Essentially, I knew the adventure. I hadn't bothered to really pre-read that because I was like,
it's there in the book.
It's there in the book. And at the same time, when you guys were starting out, I was like, I don't know how much you guys are going to love this or even like it. That, half of you could turn around and go, "Oh, I really like that." And then one of you be like, I'm all right. And pass up. And then essentially turn around and go, "Oh, I've wasted time prepping out for anything." So it's, I think one of my friends does it, that they almost do it as a charity sort of thing, that they DM for I think it's their niece, like they DM for their friends, and they're like young kids, like 8-year-olds almost, and they just do like little kiddie bits and pieces. But it's, you've got to cater to your audience almost, but that's where, again, it can be bad if you go to a random table and you're like, "Oh, I'm a new player and I've not done anything." That at least, I've done, I'm trying to do as much exposure to different things and not make it so you're not enjoying yourselves, and giving you as much information that I can give you that you might not get at a different table if you were to just go, "Oh, I'm new and random." But
what if we get rid of you?
Oh.
Still use your house and your table, and we just hire in a DM instead.
Why don't you just bring them near to your mansion with
imagine
your
that
17-seater fucking table, and
so
you can do whatever you want.
Could you imagine doing D&D on that? On the Lord's table.
On the Lord's mansion.
Fucking hell. Bouncing dice down that. Jesus
you got to roll dice from one end to the other.
I don't know if I would like to do a session with Because is there a max amount
No,
of people?
there
But
isn't.
it would get
but
silly.
It gets difficult to balance, and it gets difficult to balance time wise. So think, like, there ended up being four players and me at the end of Saturday. Like, yeah, that it takes time to get round everyone.
Yeah.
In a combat round, and then in a role playing encounter or whatever you want to do, that it takes a lot of time for you to get round to people, especially in combat. I think the max we ever got on a table was 7 or 8 people, plus the DM, and it was a slot. Like, it was slow, and I think that was my first actual like proper try of D&D. We had probably about 7 people plus the DM. And it took, I think we only did like 3 turns, and it took hours. Like 3 turns in combat, and it took hours.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like there was a lot of enemies. But if you think you've got seven party members, all with their own intentions about what they're going to do, whatever, and then you still got the enemies to go on that. Like, think at the weekend where you had like one of the fights when there was about 8 goblins at one point, and then there's you. So then you've got a turn. You've got 3 things, like multiple things you can do in a turn. Then the goblins have still got that much they can do, that it proper drags out. And you've also got to base it on what the DM is comfortable having that many people.
Yeah, because I suppose if they're just not,
because if there's
up
not facility for it, for one, because if you imagine you have that many people round to play D&D, like, you know, it's doable. Like, I could probably do it at my table, but it would be hard. Because there is room, but there isn't enough room to squeeze everyone in and squeeze everyone on, and everyone can see and everyone can be involved and everyone feel involved. And then at the same breath of, you know, does the DM feel comfortable having that many people to cater to? Because at the minute, like, I've got 4 people now, technically.
Yeah.
That truthfully, like, yeah, at least you can drop in and out as she pleases and doesn't need to be there and can be there. Whatever, that if I'm just working with 3 of you, it's quite easy to go, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You know, balance it out nicely. Because everyone's going to want to do different things.
7 people. Imagine 7 people and you don't all fucking get on.
Yeah.
And all.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I mean.
God.
That's what comes down to the horror stories. If you, like, luckily enough, like the group I play with, we've known each other like years. These are people I've gone to school with. We've known each other years. We've been through whatever. That we do get on quite well. We still have disagreements about things and can have, like, you know, arguments at table about like negligible things, but no one's like out to fucking get each other.
Everyone's out to get me on this fucking table, though, isn't there?
You're a prick.
There's one little weasel that's out to get me on this fucking table.
Well,
consistently.
He's your best mate. And he's not here.
Consistently is trying to fucking do me over on this
Well, he did break his pinky promise, so
for no reason. No reason.
DM's given the fuck around and find out. So
Alicia killed him, and I'm the one that gets the fucking flack for it.
Yeah.
Because I took back what was originally mine.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It makes
it's funny. I enjoyed it.
And I know you'll be listening at some point, Ash. It's almost tempting to just flat out kill your character just so that you can make another one that isn't a prick.
You've heard it here first.
You know what I mean?
Your days are numbered.
It's shitty, cunty fucking drow that he's made, and the personality. I hate it. I hate Solak Sestarian.
But then that's a good thing, because then clearly the roleplay's working.
I hate him. I don't hate Ash. Ash is fine. He's lovely.
Well,
there's sometimes when I hate Ash.
You, Ash.
But the fucking character that he's made, he's just such a prick. I really, really dislike him. I really do. I have to get it out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it in the chat. I'll put it in the little fucking D&D chat just so he's aware before he
gets upset.
Let me fucking...
let me at him.
Where is it?
But yeah, your drow is a prick.
I fucking hate your character.
Daryl's is fun, though.
As a person, by the way. Yeah, Daryl's is great.
But that's the thing. That shows that the roleplay works, and you're detaching player from character. Obviously, it's only 2 sessions in, and you're not fully founded. You're not fully comfortable and
I
found,
just hate the
and
cunt.
found your feet in play doing
He's
role
just
play.
so fucking annoying. Just everything. And he's not even good. He's not even good. That's the worst part. He's not even good. He's not capable of doing anything. He's a glass cannon with no fucking gunpowder in the cannon. He can't do anything. He's just fucking useless. Just useless. Geezer broke his ankle trying to climb up a fucking wall. Like, just so pointless. You got Daryl, who's just, like, he's just a fucking thick, stupid paladin, but so lovable. So lovable. And every... I'll tell you what Daryl's character is like. It's like Chicken Joe from Surf's Up. You ever seen Surf's Up?
Rings a bell. I can't picture it off the top of my head, but
Fucking let me go.
Is that the one with the little one with the mad hair? Oh no, Chicken Joe. Yeah, I think I remember now.
Chicken
It
Joe.
it rings a bell, but I can't.
Chicken Joe.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
cool surfer
Yeah,
chicken,
okay,
man.
Yeah,
Don't fucking
I
care.
was thinking of the wrong.
Wins
thing. I
the
was thinking of
fucking
something
big
else.
surfing competition without
Yeah.
even trying. He's just chilling in the fucking ocean. Just everything goes his way, and he's just so chilled.
That's because
Nothing matters.
Bloody Argon wants to fight and fuck, and that's about
Just
it.
everything's going his way, and that's exactly the same for fucking Daryl's character Argon. Just everything's just you're fine, mate. All right, you're all right. Me trying to tactically think of shit, and I'm getting fucking rascalted, just getting done in, just fucked up. And then I've got Solak sitting there, just little prick. I hate him. I hate him.
Did you all feel drastically fucking incompetent when
Yes.
when Alicia's character turned up?
Yes.
Like, here comes a proper adventurer.
Yeah, because Alicia's character is built to be played properly.
Yours is built to be played properly.
I know, but you can see the skill gap. It would be no different of I don't know. It's no different of if everyone jumped on World of Warcraft.
True,
I'm going to be the best person there, hands down, by quite a fucking margin. I will be. I just will be. And it will be at that. You, Daryl and Ash could all be playing WoW together, and Alicia, and Steph, and fucking anyone else, and be having a merry, merry time and thinking that you're doing fantastic. And then I can fucking jump in and blow everyone out of the water because I have the experience behind me for that. And that was exactly how I felt with Alicia joining because I was just like, you're the epitome of everything.
You know, it'd be worse if I was a player.
That's what I'm saying.
Could you imagine it was like,
you go, I can't do and think the same way that you are currently, but I won't be able to because I'm still fresh.
Again, it's only your second session.
I was like,
so
wow.
it's easily excusable.
The geezer tried to nick from her pocket and she just turned around and slit his wrist. She went, right, you can fuck off. Dead.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I'm not having that.
What's going on here? Just rolling fucking 20s every 5 minutes. Every single roll was above 16. Every single one of them. Is that him agreeing or is that Daryl agreeing to him being a knob?
Daryl's agreed.
So much hate for Friday. He said, yeah, he's a bit of a knob, to be fair.
The old black-hearted drow.
Black-hearted drought. I hate it. But you're right. You're right. That is where the role play is doing what it needs.
Yeah.
I just want to. Daryl's role play is fantastic.
It's
fantastic. Scottish fucking dwarf. He's great, man. He's so good. So's Ash. Like it's just. But Daryl was just so.
He's got the secret sauce. And
it's so
going on.
It's so weird to. What I need to do is...
He committed. I was surprised how committed he's been.
Yeah, he was all over it. I need to essentially kill off my character and then have another one come in where I have made it for a role play that I'm able to actually do because I'm terrible at accents.
You can't do the dwarvish.
I can't do it, boy. Get some happy snaps, boy.
You can.
I can't do it. So accents need to fucking go out of the window for me, and I need to sort of have something else where I can just be almost like how I am now, but
you want to be a self-insert,
but weird and fucking quirky.
Yeah.
You do that, just be a self-insert.
Yeah. If you could make it an akin to a self-insert. If you were that obviously it would be like, oh yeah, if you want to call yourself Reese, then fine, like whatever.
Oh, yeah,
but
that wouldn't fucking work. It was
Reese.
Solax, Astarion, Argon, Reese.
Reese, the human fighter.
Bubba.
Bubba. Yeah.
Bubba Boogo.
It's again, it comes in time with playing. Like
Yeah, it will do.
Some people are a lot more or a lot more capable of just leaning into the improv and the role play. And when I first started, I felt even with friends, I felt very like, I don't know if can do this and feel very comfortable doing it. And then you just do it more and more, and you start to feel like you can do it, and then you start opening yourself up to doing it.
I think that's what I'm.
And sometimes it's just sometimes it's just little like memey bits you can do. Like with my pals, we joked about fucking like doing a Cajun accent, and then all of a sudden
it's crazy. I have a picture on my phone of Daryl's gooch, gooch nutsack arsehole, right, on my phone. Okay, multiple pictures of his penis.
Oh yeah,
multiple pictures. I've seen Ash's shit in the back of a van. I've seen it,
and you don't want to.
I've seen it in person with my own eyeballs. Right, we've spoke about cum and all sorts of manner of things.
Dirty soggy biscuits.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I've seen Daryl's gooch, and I'm too not scared but anxious to throw an accent in front of it.
We've shared the same straw of a milkshake.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't.
We've basically kissed.
I know, but it doesn't make any sense why you would have some form of anxiety around getting proper into the role play, because I know that I'm capable of doing it. I know it's there. All right. I definitely know that, maybe not all the voices, but I know that I'm able to fucking delve into it. Yeah. Maybe it's because we're a bit slow in terms of the actual gameplay of it. Maybe. And it sort of, the flow isn't necessarily there yet, because we're still having to figure out what the fuck is going on. Because right now it's one hell of a split fucking party right now. We ain't making it to the end of this adventure the same party that started. There's no fucking way. I don't even think we'll all survive. It's not going to happen.
You might do.
We'll have to see.
You'd have to see. Thing is, we're like, truthfully, when I've looked at it, you're not even out. Well, you're just now out of the first chapter. Truthfully,
yeah. Like, and how many chapters are there? I think there's 4 or 5. 20 hours it's taken us to get out of one chapter.
Truthfully, when you look at the
it took us 4 hours to get out of the inn that we slept in, because Daryl was trying to wank off into a pillow or some shit like that.
Rolling for dick size.
Rolled for penis, such 7 inches is what I got. It's the smallest of the group by quite a margin. Daryl rolled a 12.
We'll probably re-roll that with some better stats.
It's just fucking
better stat padding on the back of that, because a D20 ain't exactly the most accurate for that one.
It's so good. The excitement, I love it, because over the last couple of weeks, in terms of gaming, I've got excitement from other areas that I wouldn't normally get excitement from. So like me and Steph, for example, playing the World of Warcraft tabletop game and getting absolutely battered in that, which makes you want to play it again, because like, I haven't beaten this fucking game yet, which you can play solo somehow, but me and Steph just can't do it. So it's like, well, but it was great. It was fantastic. And whether that was because it was a cooperative board game where we're not pitted against each other, or whether it was because of it being World of Warcraft and I recognised every single aspect of it.
In with it.
Yeah, or a culmination of those things. You're playing with your partner. Like, it really, really fun and enjoyable. And then you've got D&D on top of that, where it's like, this is gaming on a level that I am so not involved with, or at least haven't been involved with. It's kind of
your first exposure to that style of like table.
Like I say, I'm not.
It's a tabletop game, but it's not like. Is it like Monopoly?
Yeah,
it's like no. It's a tabletop
like
game, but it's a tabletop role playing game, which is.
It's the role playing aspect that I think is what makes it so fun, and I think that's where. Because
it's what you come up with and what you can come up with.
Yeah, and it's just.
It's.
If anyone's listening and you've got a group of friends and you've all thought at some point, maybe we should try D&D. 100% try it. Yeah. And then we've also let you in on the thing that if you don't have a DM, you can just buy one.
Yeah, if none
Just
of you.
hire a DM, give them a score, give them some fucking sniff, whatever they want.
Give them some snacks.
Provide them with whatever they want,
Give them some drinks. Give them some snacks. Give them some sucky.
and off you go. We were driving back to the yard today. We're in London, and a homeless geezer come up. Well, I'm not even sure they're homeless. I don't know if for the people that obviously don't know London, this won't sound fucking familiar at all, but the A406 is a road in London, it's just a ring road that fucking circles around London, and there's just homeless people dotted around, but I'm pretty sure they're not homeless, and they just stand there with cups fucking at the traffic lights begging for money, basically. They always pretend they've got a hobble on or they're fucking missing a leg or some shit. That's all bollocks.
He's got his cup in his hand.
It's all bollocks. Desperate. And this geezer pulled up. We pulled up at the lights. This old geezer's, like, homeless geezer's come over with his cup. Connor's got the windows down because he's bored. I said, here we go. There we go. And normally you ignore him and just go, I ain't got anything for you, mate. See you later. And he comes over and starts shaking his cup. And Connor's like, I ain't got anything for you, mate. And he was like, unless you can give us something. The geezer starts laughing and hobbled off. Just ask the geezer for a bit of sucky. Suck this, I'll give you a quid. I've just never... It's the fact that he laughed as well. He's like, I ain't got anything for you, mate, unless you can give me something. Asking a homeless geezer.
Just wanted him to give me a show or some sort of entertainment.
So stupid, isn't it? So stupid, but yeah, if you're thinking about playing D&D, then I urge you to play D&D. If you're like me, a purely video game gamer, and you're thinking about branching into other areas of gaming in terms of board games and things,
there's other things outside of D&D. If high fantasy isn't the one you want to go for, there are a lot more ones out there that have different options. So like the alternative to D&D is Pathfinder, which is the same thing, but it's a slightly different system, and it's more. There's a lot more customization. If they say, if you don't like D&D, try Pathfinder. If you don't like Pathfinder, play D&D. But then there's other stuff, like I told you the other day, or whenever it was, I think it was yesterday, I mentioned that there's a Lord of the Rings play. There's different ones. Like the one I've got is a D6 style game, which plays slightly differently than D&D, because that's D20, whereas this is D6. There's again the other one, like Call of Cthulhu, is another one. That doesn't play at all like D&D. That's more mysteries and supernatural and spooky shit. My pal picked up Mothership, which is meant to be more like science fiction horror. And that plays again differently. Is if you find your niche about how you want to play, but there is, if you're recommending playing D&D, there's easily a recommendation to play any sort of tabletop game, and opening up the world of possibility that, like, people, like what you said before, it's like, I don't know what I can do, and you turn around and go, well, you can do anything.
Yeah,
like
much.
there is a structure to it, but ultimately, like,
test the boundaries of that structure.
Push the boundaries, and we'll see how far we can do. Can Daryl's character spit on your character's head? Yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
Can you bathe in a horse trough? Yes, you can.
Can he wipe the cum off of his bell end with the curtains? Yes, he can.
He can.
Yeah,
it's can Ash fall down a pit or off a wall?
Of course he can.
Of course he can. Like, it's like we said before, and I think I've said it before. It is what you make of it, but you have to want to commit to it, which you guys all are in that aspect of. But again, it will come, like for you, it will come that you'll be more comfortable, more open, and like you'll start to figure it. Like I think Alicia said it and pointed it out and said it. She felt like it helps you guys to see that there's other things you can be asking and doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you guys are looking at it really linear and going, well, we've got to get from A to B, or we've got to get through here, or we can see a pathway that we can go and we just walk up it, or we interact with it and it doesn't go well. That if you start to look off the beaten path and, ask different questions, or look at things you've got or things you can acquire, like I said to you guys, look at your equipment, or think about having additional equipment, because you can, these situations, you can think outside the box and go, well, I can avoid all of this bullshit just by doing this.
Yeah.
That, it's the world's your oyster as players, fundamentally, and I'm trying not to be I'm not trying to be a hardline DM and say, no, you can't do that or fucking whatever. And just be like, let's roll with it and see what's happening. And I'll let you guys experience things as new players and try and help you and give you every little bit of information that I know and can think of that's going to help you get through it, because it's a lot to take in straight off the bat.
There's a lot to take in, but we're doing it well. We're getting there. We are getting there. I'm going to have to leave it because I really need a poo.
Oh, look at him. So that's what you were shuffling for. Your eyes were getting all like squinty and glazed over and
hold the poo in.
Shuffling.
Ah!
No, look at that. Just shit yourself. Live on pod.
Could you imagine? No one would know.
No one would know.
No one would know. Right, well, we'll call it there then.
Ooh.
See you later, everyone.
See ya.